Alright, so the news is out that the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk is actually a 22-year-old, not a 20, because previously we thought it was a 14-year-old high school student by the name of Skyle something, Uh, I even managed to find his LinkedIn page, but apparently it's not. So it's actually a 22-year-old who was the son of a sheriff, in the police department. And he actually admitted to his own father that he was the one who did the assassination. The father turned him in, drove him to the police station to turn himself in. And yeah, you got to see the face of this guy. Just a regular white dude, regular looking, lean, uh, maybe not the typical stereotype of like, some trans or queer person whom some conservatives like to. I mean, it's probably true also that the statistics show that there is more of such people who are shooters and killers. But this guy is not. This one's not. This one's just looking very normal, you know, looking just like any normal person, in fact, normal conservative person would look like. Not even black, not even gay, not even a trans, not any of that, right? So, and he's even the son of the police officer. I don't know how to put this, I don't know how to put this. I mean, of course, the past few days, the left has been very anxious about the identity of this person. They have been keeping quiet, like Sydney Daddy says. They have been, you know, keeping mum, keeping their mouths shut because they are so afraid, that the identity of this person, when exposed, is going to put them in a very bad light because, it's probably going to be someone they don't wish to be implicated in this kind of. But when this identity came out, I'm sure, they will heave a huge sigh of relief, you know. Uh, as if, uh, they have won. And the conservative side, of course, you will have one less ammunition to use, which I think is good, because we don't want more divide. We don't want more divide in America. Charlie Kirk has wanted to unite America. There's never about division. It is never about polarizing or provoking anything. It has always been about bridging, bridging differences, bridging this kind of different opinions that people may have, but really letting people come together to understand one another. We may disagree, but as long as I get to talk, and as long as I get to tell you what I believe so strongly to be right and to give you a good explanation for it, that is the freedom I have. That is the kind of argument we want to allow in a free country like America, right? And at the end of the day, such free debate, free dialogue is for the purpose of unity. Of course, there will still be differences. Even within the right itself, Charlie Kirk himself and Ben Shapiro have been very, very pro-Israel. Whereas on the other side, you have Tucker Carlson and all these guys who are quite anti-Israel. But other than this, so which also tells us that the division is not just between left and right. It can also be between right and wrong. It can also be between, other topics and other contentious points. So it's not just left versus right. That I agree. That I agree. Even though, by and large, I would still slam the left a lot. I will still be putting a lot of blame on the left, rightly so, because they were the ones who are showing us they are intolerant. They are the ones who are showing us they are ungraceful. But at the end of the day, it is not about um, the idea that the only division is between left and right. The idea that this is the only thing, or this is rather the insurmountable gap in America. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Whether you're liberal or conservative, left, slightly left or slightly right, and Charlie Kirk was very moderate, right? It's not even extreme. So it's not about left versus right. Right? Even though, as I say, there will still be, this contest of ideas. There will still be, and I will still be criticizing the left a lot. But at the end of the day, it is really not about dividing people. It is really about uniting people. It is really about allowing people who have different opinions to be able to say what they want and to convince others that they are right. It's as simple as that, right? And it is incumbent upon the people who can make decisions, who can set directions for the country to make sure, that we allow this to happen. So maybe it is good that the identity of this boy turned out to be a white male, so that we don't get confused, with many other topics. Let's keep things simple. This is a guy, he can be any guy, from any background, from any political persuasion, in fact. And just so happens that he chose to do this wrong step. Actually, right from the start of this thing happening, I'm already very clear as to it is a one person individual incident. All right, we cannot be blaming the whole entire left. In fact, we don't even know if this guy belongs to the left, but we cannot be blaming the whole community of the left, because even within the left, you have many different factions and many people who have different approaches, let's say, to political discourse. Some believe it needs to be peaceful. Some believe, we need to go to the streets and protest every day. I don't agree with that. Some believe we can riot and burn down cars and do whatever. I, of course, don't agree with that, and I think nobody should. And then you have the very extreme cases of people who want to kill. And it can be both on the left and right. So while the problem of rhetoric is, of course, bigger in the left, but let's again, not make the same mistake as the left as saying that speech is violence. Speech is not violence, no matter how wrongful or even hateful your speech can be, as long as it is not inciting violence directly, it shouldn't be seen as a violent act. At the same time, of course, as I say, I will still be criticizing the left, because it is the left that is saying all these nasty things, saying all these hateful things, and pitching people against one another at the individual level, making people think of Trump as Nazis, think of Elon Musk as Nazis, and also, of course, think of Charlie Kirk as Nazi. And that, in a way, caused people to want to harm them, want to see them as bad people, and want to glorify their death, and want to celebrate their passing, and want to say that, it is not worthy of us mourning over the death. And I can understand why, because if every day the news you read or the commentary you read tells you that they are bad people, that is the natural reaction you will have. Just like we wouldn't shed a tear for terrorists who have killed people. We wouldn't shed a tear when they are bombed, when they are gunned down, when they are, exploded into pieces. We won't. So these same people have this same aberration and hatred for, conservatives, figures. And I understand why. So this should be a wake-up call. We should stop this nonsense. But at the same time, I don't want us to be blaming this one individual's act on the whole community. That is exactly what the left does, and that is exactly what we should not do. Okay? We shouldn't be playing identity politics. The left divides people based on race, they used to be based on class, now it's based on race, based on gender, based on sexual orientation. We shouldn't do the same. We shouldn't do the same by identifying people by their political persuasion. We shouldn't. Okay? So that is what I want to say. And right from the start, I think this is an individual act. This is a bad act, and it's a sign of worse things that may come. But I will be very, very careful in implicating the whole thing. It is the same as the Muslim problem. Right? I wouldn't want to implicate all Muslims to say that all of them are complicit in what Hamas does. I wouldn't say that all of them are anti-Semitic and anti-Israel, because it is not true. It's simply not true. And you have entire nations like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, who are very, very, and even Qatar, all right, willing to work with Israel, are very supportive of the state of Israel, and so on and so forth. So, and the more allies you have, the better. Why are we trying to build this gap rather than a bridge? Okay, so it is a time, it is good opportunity to really try to unite as Americans, to really try to, both the right and the left have something to learn from this incident, from this episode. The left more than the right, of course. Okay, but everyone has something to learn. And it starts from today. Okay? So I really don't know what to make of this. I don't know why this father managed to have such a son who did such a thing. I mean, we will of course be waiting for more details to come out. I want to know the reason why. I don't want it to be just, the Singapore PAP or news media way of doing things is to hide everything under the carpet, to not let us know anything. If we don't know anything, we won't learn anything. I want to know as much details as possible. All right? And I don't want any censorship. Some people say that, the video was too gory, we should censor it. No. Of course, there are nuances to it, People who are too young to watch, maybe they shouldn't be shown the clip, the footage. Other than that, I want people to see, right? Just like I want people to actually go and see the videos that Hamas themselves put up on their own fucking website, on their attacks on Israelis, on their actions they did to the people there. And in fact, that was what Israel did to Greta Thunberg the Great, when she tried to visit the place. Let's just say. So the same thing here, I want to know as much details as possible. I want to know why. I want to know why. This guy did what he did. And for whatever reason, we should, we should not take any political bias here. I want the truth and only the truth. And from there, let's talk about it. Okay, but at the same time, there should be no negotiation. There should be no mercy. This guy deserves the full brunt of the law, the full force of the law. Donald Trump has already issued an executive order. I don't think even without him having that order, I think he should be put to death. There's no question about that. The death penalty should be mandatory for him because this is not a simple incident. He is doing something against the public order. And true enough, Donald Trump agrees with this. He has signed an executive order that mandates the death penalty on this, whoever is caught, whoever is liable, in the interest of public interest. Okay? So, on the one hand, I want to know why he did what he did. We can show empathy. We can show understanding. But most importantly, we want to know why, what led to this, and what we can learn from it. At the same time, this is a bad thing, and it cannot be excused. It cannot be forgiven. Right? This must be given the maximum punishment it can ever be given, according to the law, according to what is right. I'm not saying we need to instill any cruel punishment on this person. I'm just saying, the retribution, the justice needs to be served. That's all. All right, and it has to be done ruthlessly, mercilessly, because being kind to cowards, criminals, and thugs, and cheats, and I don't know what word to use anymore, like this, will only encourage more of such behavior. And we can argue till the cows come home about corrective measures, about corrective programs. Don't kill them, don't punish them, don't put them in jails, give them corrective rehabilitation. We can argue till the cows come home how that is effective or not effective. The fact of the matter is justice needs to be served, and the fact of the matter is when you have fucking 14 times arresting a guy and still letting that guy go, I think the guy is not the problem. You are the problem. You are the fucking problem. Alright, and Elon Musk is right that these judges who meted out these rubbish sentences should be shamed, should be named and shamed, and they should lose their jobs. They should lose them because they are endangering other people, normal people. They are not doing their job. They are not worth that position of theirs. And they should go. And it starts today. It starts now. And I want the action to be ruthless.